So
But
it's
it's important to know that your team, however your organization's set up, you don't have to have redundant text message or phone call conversation or emails, because you can actually, if you get if depending on the campaign, the workflow that you have, you're going to get tasked to do the next thing if that's how you design your business, and you're going to be able to review everything that the previous team member communicated. And so you're not going to be having these. We have like a morning meeting and it's 15 minutes. Sometimes it goes longer, but in general, we try to reduce the number of basically pointless conversations, pointless questions. And we'll continue to work on that so that we all are on the same page. But there's no reason for you to have to ask people in a meeting menial task. You should know what's going on with each person. That's our goal moving forward for this year. Like, yeah, we want to grow and we're going to have sales goals. But I think for me as a leader, I want to make sure that we're, as much as possible, Proline offers a very, very clear picture for every team member to know exactly what we're supposed to do for each different customer. I think that's the ultimate goal for me, is like everyone has that feeling that Cameron had, is that I love it because they've already done it. Like Kathleen's already done this. Tisha already knows this. We don't have to worry about this. We know when to pay people then. We know when to schedule this. We know when to order this. Like nothing's perfect, but from a internal communication tool, Proline really does give each team member that it empowers them because we all know what's going on. And from the customer's perspective too, they don't get as much incorrect information. They get correct information from us, from our team, and they feel confident in choosing our company because we're all communicating on the same page. We're not as much as possible. We're not asking the wrong questions or giving the wrong information to our homeowners because we're all on the same page. It's a communication tool. It's a communication platform that has a CRM that's really robust with a lot of really powerful automations. It's people want to be communicated effectively and clearly on this is, like you said, it's a very nerve-wracking process to replace your roof or to repair your roof. You need to communicate clearly every single time.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, you lose the redundant conversations between your team, but you also get rid of the redundant conversations between customers. So one thing I talk about a lot is, as a homeowner, I've had a lot of experiences with renovation companies, all that kind of stuff. We had our windows in our house were the original windows from the 80s. They were leaking, and we had a company come out to replace all the windows. And there was a lot of stuff that I liked about the company. I knew the kind of what I was looking for in the windows. I knew about what the price was that I wanted to pay, and I was able to get that. But there was little things that just kind of sucked about the process, where the person I first talked to on the phone didn't relay all the information to the guy that came out to my house. And then the guy that came out to the house to sell me on the windows, like the person who scheduled the install, like they didn't even know each other. They didn't even know each other's names. So this guy was in my house. He was working with me for a while. We were going through all these different things. And then I think his wife went into labor or something like that. Or maybe he was like, hey, I really actually need to go. Like, but it was like either his wife went into labor while he was at my house, or she was going to be induced the next day. It was something really like that. So then the person calls me to schedule the install, and I was like, hey, did Josh or whatever, like, did everything go okay with his baby getting born? And she was like, oh, who's Josh? And I was like, what are you talking about? That's the guy who's in my house. Like, it just goes so much better when someone calls in, they relay information. I can listen to the call. I can read the notes from Kathleen, who's talking to it. And then when I show up at their house, I say, like, I give them the rundown of my understanding of what's going on and ask if there's anything else they think I need to know. So if you have a stain in your living room, I'm going to show up and say, hey, I'm really sorry you got a stain in your living room. Can I see what that looks like? And maybe you have attic access or something. They're not having to give the report to Kathleen and then come back and give the report to me. And then on the day of the install, give the report to somebody else. And then, have to follow up with someone else to pay that doesn't know anything else or anything like that. Proline has made it where I know what I'm walking into. The customer has somebody that knows what's going on with their house. And from the top to bottom, we all in the company know exactly what's going on if we just like use Proline and get in there and read the notes and communications and all that.
Love that. Yeah, I mean, this is it's good to hear. You know, John and I have put a lot of time and work in to work through these things and make sure that Proline does what you're saying it does. So it's good to hear that it's working the way that we intended. I guess that's a big difference between Proline and these other tools that were I just don't believe that enough time was spent on these other tools truly collecting and understanding what actually happens inside of a roofing business. Even some of these the newer ones that are getting developed now, I see them putting out features. It's like, why would you do it that way? Why would you? And I think it's because you have people that are not in the roofing industry, and they're doing a few interviews with roofing contractors, not truly understanding, and then just pushing stuff out. And I think it's been a bit different with the way that we've built this inside of John's business, truly first and foremost, then expanded it and made it work for other businesses as well. It's just like all these layers of us kind of rounding out the sanding down the corners and making this work the way it needs to work. So it's good to hear that is your perspective on it.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I think like I said, I was a big proponent of that first CRM, but in hindsight, it was really just because I put so much time in, and to see another CRM work in the way that a roofing company actually works. And you're not sitting there every day being like, "Oh, I just wish it would do this, or I wish I could make it do this, or I'm going to spend 2 hours working with MailChimp and Zapier and all this stuff to try to make this work." It's just really cool it's like you're a roofing person in a roofing business, and then to have the CRM kind of flow the way that you would normally flow, and you're not having to hold it together with duct tape and super glue is really cool.
Yep. As we've been recording this, I just got a text from a potential customer in our Savannah market, and he's a great customer. He works in Chicago, but he's like, I gotta nail down the times at the end of March. So something super easy to do in Proline that's really, really effective is I have to listen to that person. I'm using this platform, Proline, to listen to that person. I'm changing the automation to the third week of March. So I'm not insulting him by following up in a week. It's a people tool. You're helping people communicate effectively. You don't forget, because the automation sends out another text and an email the third week of March, because he said at the end of March, we're going to be making the decision. And okay, great. So as we're talking here, and nobody knew this, I was just doing it really fast.